Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into what makes a great romantic partnership tick.
Exactly. We've pulled together some, well, quite varied perspectives, haven't we?
We have articles from Thought Catalog on being a good boyfriend, Collective World on the girlfriend side.
And Elephant Journal talking about being a good lover, plus that Reddit thread.
Oh, yeah, the AskMen thread where guys talked about, how they learn to be better partners, specifically in that intimate context.
Right. So the goal here for you, the learner listening in, is to kind of sift through all this.
Yeah, pull out the key insights, the common threads, without it feeling overwhelming. We want to give you a solid understanding of what builds that strong, fulfilling connection.
Okay, so where should we start? A big one, maybe the biggest, that just kept popping up was communication.
Definitely. Collective World, they were really direct about it for girlfriends, saying, men often need things spelled out.
Right. No hints. Forget the passive-aggressive stuff. It just leads to frustration, apparently.
Seems plausible. They really pushed for open, compassionate communication. That's how you get positive change.
And it wasn't just general communication, was it? The Reddit thread, the AskMen one, specifically highlighted it for, well, understanding needs in bed.
Yeah, knowing preferences, what works, what doesn't. It all seems to hang on being able to actually talk about it openly.
Which would be tricky. And Marriage.com added an interesting layer there. They suggested it's kind of rare for women to directly communicate needs without negativity creeping in.
Okay. So that puts the onus back on the partner.
A bit, yeah. They stress the importance of the man in their context, asking direct questions about everything intimacy related, kissing, touching, aftercare.
So no assuming based on past experiences or, what you think they might want.
Exactly. Cut through the guesswork. Clear, open talk is foundational.
Okay. Bedrock established communication. What about the emotional side, that feeling of connection?
Yeah, that was big too. Thought Catalog had some really nice, concrete examples around thoughtfulness.
Like the small gestures.
Right. Surprising her with pizza or flowers, planning a date unexpectedly, even enduring a shopping trip willingly.
Ah, okay. That shows commitment.
It does. It's about showing they're on your mind. Simple texts like thinking of you or this reminded me of you.
It's those little proofs, isn't it? Consistent signals.
Yeah, and Thought Catalog also mentioned gifts moving beyond the generic stuff, choosing something that shows you actually listen and pay attention to her specific interests.
That shows you really see them as an individual.
Precisely. And Marriage.com kind of echoed this, calling that mental and emotional connection fundamental.
How did they frame it?
Paying attention to what she says, like really listening, remembering details later, bringing them up. It shows you value her thoughts.
That makes sense. Builds trust, connection.
They added something simple, but I think pretty profound. Make her laugh.
Laughter, yeah. Shared joy. That definitely builds a bond, doesn't it?
It really does. And the Reddit thread touched on this too, but maybe more from the desire angle.
Oh, right. Making her feel desired.
Yeah, through words, through actions. And that it's not just about the bedroom. It starts way before. Planning dates specifically to make her feel amazing. Like, quote, the sexiest woman in the world.
That's a high bar, but the intention, it's powerful.
It is. And that feeling desired, feeling seen, it leads right into appreciation, which Collective World really zeroed in on.
Ah, yes. The idea that men are often, what was the phrase, starved for appreciation.
Exactly. For all the effort they put in, big or small, grand gestures or just, taking out the bins.
And the key wasn't just any compliment, right? It was about acknowledging the specific action, the thought behind it.
Yes, that quesadilla example they used was great. Maybe it wasn't perfect, maybe it was late, but the intention was good. Seeing that is what matters.
Recognizing the effort.
Right. Collective World suggests that genuine appreciation validates the effort and, well, encourages more of it. It's a positive feedback loop.
Okay, so communication, emotional connection, appreciation. Let's shift now, maybe more directly, to intimacy. Elephant Journal had a lot to say there.
They really did.
Yeah.
A very holistic view. Pleasure involving the whole body, the mind, everything.
What stood out to you?
Well, the idea that a good lover's hands, quote, never stop moving, exploring, teasing, not just focusing on, the usual spots.
Interesting. And engaging the mind, too.
Yeah, building anticipation, erotic messages, talk, creating that mental arousal, and, crucially, creating a safe space.
Safe space, how so?
A space for vulnerability, relaxation, so she can fully surrender to the experience. They even suggested things like non-sexual massage as a starting point for building that comfort and trust.
That really shifts the focus from like performance anxiety to actually being present, doesn't it?
Totally. Elephant Journal was clear.
Hmm.
The goal is her arousal, her pleasure, not obligation. Being attentive to her reactions is way more important than mastering some technique.
Presence over performance.
And the Reddit thread kind of mirrored this in a way. They talk about different phases for women, seduction, lots of foreplay, then sex, which might differ from a man's typical approach.
Right. They really emphasized foreplay, dirty talk, oral sex, aiming for her climax, maybe even before or alongside penetration.
Yeah, and they also mentioned how different positions might work better for her orgasm. And again, the need to talk about preferences,
Communication again. It keeps coming back.
always. And selflessness, too. Ensuring her pleasure continues, even after his orgasm. And cuddling afterwards. Simple but important.
Definitely. So Marriage.com's advice to ask for directions seems to tie all this together.
It really does. For everything kissing, touching, oral, penetration after play, don't assume. Ask. They even said maybe take mental notes.
Okay, maybe not literal notes, but remember what works for her.
Exactly. It's about recognizing her individuality.
Hmm.
No one-size-fits-all approach.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Collective World brought up something else important for balance: personal space.
Oh, yeah. So key for the long haul.
Yeah.
They pointed out men and women might handle stress differently.
And that sometimes giving space is the supportive thing to do.
Right. Resisting that urge to, like, coddle or push them to talk when they need to process alone, that can be deeply appreciated.
And maintaining your own life too, right?
Yeah.
Not losing yourself in the relationship.
Yes. Having your own interests, your own friends. It's not selfish. It keeps things healthy, dynamic. They had that line about men sometimes falling in love in her absence.
A bit of distance keeps perspective, prevents the relationship from becoming the only source of happiness.
Exactly. It avoids that kind of enmeshment, allows for growth, which, speaking of ongoing effort, self-care came up too.
Also from Collective World.
Keeping up those routines you had before. Exercise, eating well, grooming.
It shows you still value yourself, and by extension, the relationship. Keeps the spark alive.
That was the idea. And they noted, maybe controversially to some, that men often appreciate when a woman makes an effort to look good for them.
It's about showing you still care enough to make that effort, I suppose.
Yeah, valuing yourself, valuing the connection. And linked to that was attitude, positivity.
Ah, the power of a positive attitude. Collective World said it's attractive, infectious.
Highly attractive, yeah. Greeting your partner with a smile, trying to find the good in situations, it just creates a better dynamic.
And avoiding using the relationship as just an emotional dumping ground.
Right. It's unsustainable if one person constantly feels like they're managing the other's negativity. It creates an imbalance.
Gotcha. Okay, so many facets. But Thought Catalog brought it all back to something really fundamental, didn't they?
They did. Friendship. It basically said being her best friend is the most important thing.
The cornerstone.
Absolutely. Being there, good times and bad. Trustworthiness, honesty, support, respect, care, love, and acceptance. Flaws and all.
That foundation seems like what allows everything else to flourish. The trust to communicate openly, the care behind the gestures.
Exactly. It provides that resilience, that bedrock for everything else we've discussed.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. Key takeaways seem to be, well, definitely communication. Clear, compassionate, direct.
Then that deep emotional connection built through really listening, through thoughtfulness, making them feel seen and desired.
Appreciation is huge. Acknowledging effort, not just results.
Right. And intimacy, this attentive, selfless, communicative, focused on mutual pleasure and safety.
Don't forget respecting space and individuality, letting each other breathe and have separate lives too.
Crucial. Plus, ongoing self-care, maintaining a positive outlook as much as possible.
And underpinning it all, that foundation of genuine friendship, trust, and acceptance.
It's quite a list, but they all weave together, don't they?
They really do.
They.
So considering all these different angles, here's a thought for you listening.
What's maybe one small actionable thing you could do today? Something to understand your partner or a future partner just a little bit better. Or show appreciation in a way that really lands.
Yeah, because building a great relationship, it's not a one-time thing, is it? It's an ongoing journey.
Definitely. And hopefully these insights give you a valuable map or at least some good starting points for finding that deeper connection and ultimately mutual happiness.